Please allow me to finish my statement. You may take a number. But for your information, it is very important for you to understand that your own higher self is no less divine than all of the masters that you are so fond of referring to. So to channel your own higher self is no less divine a manifestation, for you yourselves are ascended masters in disguise. So when you channel your higher selves, you are channeling ascended masters. So acknowledge yourself and do not downplay the importance of that experience of your own I Am presence. That is what you should cultivate, and all else will come to you. You cannot connect with Lord Sananda unless you can connect with your higher self. Next question.
I'm going through a dissolution of a long-term marriage with a partner who is very resistant to change and insists on the fact that the original commitment should stand and that I am going against everything. How can I help to ease or bring some understanding? How do I explain the fact that change is necessary when it's necessary? The one who's fighting it so much.
I think it is a lesson for you to detach from trying to convince this person of anything, and let your own actions be a demonstration of the necessity for change. There is within you still a desire to teach this person something perhaps, or to enlighten them in a certain way. This is an attachment that you have. It is not necessary. In fact, this attachment will get in the way of your doing so. Perhaps you could look into the heart of this person and see why it is they are fearful of this change, or why they are having a resistance to it. You will see within there a child, an inner child, which is hurting perhaps. And if you can address the inner child of that person, that aspect of this person which needs that love and nurturance, in order to receive more love, at times it is necessary to change external situations. Though this change may look like a limiting of love to that person, it is in fact an opening to receive more love. So it is for you to be clear about what is necessary for your own growth and for your own happiness. There is no wisdom in sacrificing your happiness supposedly for the happiness of another. This does not work, as you have experienced. Some people take longer to get it than others. So don't wait for anyone, no matter what your relationship with them. If you cannot find a way to coexist with another who is not sharing your desire for spiritual growth, you may have to, as this person has had to, change the situation. And allow the change and welcome the change. The change, once you have accepted it fully, they will accept it fully. Once you have completed the relationship yourself within yourself, they will be forced to do the same. So it is for you to sever your connections with clarity and allow that healing to take place which needs to take place. As long as the wound is still open, it will not be able to heal. So you must put some distance there, some psychological distance, and some psychic clearing. I suggest you call on Archangel Michael to sever your psychic connections with this being. Sever all of your karmic connections, your psychic connections. In doing this, you are allowing the healing to take place and allowing the wisdom to flow to this person who requires it. Take care of yourself. That is your number one priority. Then you will have something to give to others. But in giving to others, you must give from a place of detachment, not being attached to changing others, to changing their perspectives or their personalities or their activities, their actions. For teaching is truly simply radiating that which you are and allowing the chips to fall where they may, as the saying goes. When the chips are flying, you cannot reach in and arrange the way that they land. You simply have to shine that light, allow that dissolvement, that dissolution of illusion that you are capable of. It is not cold-hearted for you to do so. It is highest wisdom for you to do so. So you can get on with it. There is much that is awaiting you. It is time for you to get out of this old stage and into the new. When you have fully let go of the old, your heart will be open for the new, and there will be many, many more blessings coming your way. You need to close the door behind you in order to allow the door in front of you to open fully. The door in front of you is a room full of light. So try to be yourself and detach, and just be honest about your experience. You don't need to worry too much about all of the ramifications. The more you can trust Spirit to take care of things, the more Spirit will take care of things, and the perfect accommodations can be made. So, sometimes that which we are focusing on most intensely is that very thing that we need to release or detach from, in order that the thing that we are focusing upon can be restructured in a more perfect way.
Kathumi, I have a question. There's a particular ascended master that I call on all the time, and I'm not sure if it's his presence that I feel or not, but I long to see him, have him appear to me, and I'm wondering if when this doesn't happen, is there something that I'm doing that's standing in the way, or have I not connected fully to my I Am presence, or what? How come ascended masters appear to some people and not others?
Or you are thinking it's because you've been a bad girl.
No, I just want to see him a lot.
You will see him a lot. It is not something that you can control. The manifestations of this type of miraculous appearance are very rare indeed, and only occur for specific purposes. So if Sananda does not appear to you, it is not a reflection of your incompletion. It is not a reflection of his lack of love for you. In fact, he is assuring me right now that he loves you very, very much. But what is necessary for you is to experience that divinity within yourself on a strictly spiritual basis, not connected to any phenomenon. It is necessary as a test of faith for you to believe in that which you have not seen with your earthly eyes. There are others who it may have been highest wisdom that Sananda would appear to. Perhaps they were more dense than you and needed a more visible reminder. There are many, many reasons and many, many variables to these types of manifestations. If you are sincere in applying yourself and giving yourself to meditation, and you ask, that is all you can do, then you need to simply detach from that longing a little bit more and allow it is to occur to you. It will occur in the perfect time, in the perfect place, and in the perfect way for you. Your desire for this has been registered within His heart. And if it is highest wisdom for your growth, it will manifest. If it is not highest wisdom for your growth, it will not manifest. What is all important here is your growth, and whatever is highest wisdom for you in the limited time that you have remaining in physical embodiment. So the lessons that you are all experiencing now are very important to you. They are critical lessons. Time is of the essence. Even though it is an illusion, within your third-dimensional reality, time is of the essence. And the lessons you are receiving are coming as quickly as you can assimilate them and integrate them. So I think it will be a matter of your feeling that love, that divine connection, that devotional experience that you have within you, manifesting that, and perhaps for the time being, outside of any physical embodiments of this Master. He is with you always. You have not been meditating as long as many others. It takes a very focused meditation ability at times to truly feel this connection in its more magnificent manifestation. You can feel invisibly the presence of this being within you, completely merging with your being. And this, I think, is more important for you. So there is patience required. Everyone that is sitting in this room has certain spiritual desires. Everyone has at least one or two strong desires that they would like to experience. For most of them, I think it is first wave of ascension. And everyone has their own attachments to what will make them happy. And it is no difference whether it is that ice cream cone or whether it is that first wave of ascension. It is still an attachment that must be released and surrendered. And you must manifest and exemplify the faith and trust. This is the lesson. So it is not much different for you or for them. Everyone has their own pet desires that they are working towards. There will come a time when you will have this manifestation, and it will be real, more real than an apparition, let me say. You may have to join Sananda on the higher dimensions in order to fulfill this fantasy that you have. But it is a blessed fantasy, so do not let me be critical of it. I do not mean to be. It is a devotional, heartfelt love, and this devotion will carry you into the next dimension. Just as others' desire for their first wave of ascension will carry them into their higher dimension. Little carrots on little sticks in front of you. Some people want to be young and thin again. All these are the fringe benefits. It is impossible to describe the real benefit, the real meaning of ascension. So we talk about the fringe benefits. Oh, I will like to be young and thin again. I think I will meditate. I will meditate 6 hours a day. It will be my meditation diet plan. I would like to walk with Sananda and hold his hand. I think I will meditate so that I can ascend. These are all the fringe benefits. The actual experience is so far beyond in bliss and love of what we can describe. You could say that it cannot be described in words. We can describe in words what it feels like to be young and thin again. Yes, we can describe you standing in front of Sananda on one of the motherships, perhaps, or in some aspect of paradise. We can describe what it might feel like to you to be lifted in the first wave. We cannot describe the indescribable to you. So we come with our little carrots and shake them in front of your faces. It seems to pull you along the ice rather nicely. Any more questions?
Yes, I have a question. Meditation question. I get down to a certain level of meditating, and I seem to get into two separate realities. I'm conscious of where I'm at. I know I'm sitting in the chair and all this, and I find myself with these beings, and some of them are aware of me, most of them aren't, and it doesn't make any sense. I don't really come away with anything. I just sort of watch them interact. And sometimes I even go into like almost a trance state with this thing. I wonder if you could tell me what's happening. Am I losing focus and going off into like a wake dream thing?
What do these beings feel like to your feeling nature?
They're just interesting. They're not negative.
What are they doing?
Oh, walking on the street, feeding chickens, just doing things. There's nothing in particular.
I think you should ask to be taken directly to fifth dimensional or higher.
Do you think I'm getting into the astral?
Yes, it could be.
Yeah.
It could be. There are beings that are performing many functions on the astral plane, thinking that they are still on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are feeding the chickens, I would say there is a good chance they are.
Yeah.
It would be best, I think, if you were to simply ask for Archangel Michael to surround you with light and protection. And if there is no apparent benefit in your being in contact with this level of reality, then it will perhaps be allowed to dissolve from your experience. It is your willingness to release it, of course, that will allow this. So perhaps you could say, Archangel Michael, if there is a higher experience for me than this level of experience, then please sever my connections or my attachments to this level and let me go on to the next. You can work with us. Any ascended master can assist you in this. Archangel Michael is especially capable with severing attachment. So ultimately there's generally some sort of attachment to this phenomenon that attract them into our experience. There are other times when you will feel yourself sitting in meditation, when you will also feel yourself sitting on a higher dimension, perhaps with the ascended masters. This is an experience that can be a little strange at first, for you are all existing on higher dimensions. You are all existing in the fifth dimension already. Your higher selves are there. And they are experiencing many phenomena there. They are interacting with ascended masters. So there are aspects of yourself which are simultaneously in many dimensions, you see. Yeah.
I'm being asked to explain why I told my son, 8 years old, that we were going to go off in a spaceship and that he was going to disappear. have to explain this to the judge. What is this? How do I explain that? Make it sound like,
I would suggest you answer truthfully. Why did you explain it to him?
because that's what I thought was happening.
Well, there is your answer.
So obviously it didn't happen.
It hasn't happened yet, but it will happen.
Okay.
I think you need to be honest. There is not going to be chances are of a judge understanding your explanation, no matter how good it is, are very slim. Did you answer this question of your child because he asked you a question? Or because you were trying to perpetuate your reality upon him?
I wanted to include him in something that I was experiencing and that I was totally thrilled about. And I just shared it with him.
There is truly no need to share information concerning God with children. It is they who should be sharing information about God with us. But since you have done so, is the child frightened over this possibility?
No, but his father has totally said that he was totally frightened. He was thrilled. He was very excited. He couldn't stop asking me questions about it.
Then perhaps you should ask the child what his true experience is, and ask the child to explain to the judge what his experience is. And the judge can ask him if he was frightened by it or not. Then you will get to the truth of the matter. And no one can accuse you of frightening your child. Perhaps it is your husband who perceived it in this way.
Absolutely.
Perhaps his fear tended to rub off upon the child and reflected. Be honest and don't worry. These things have a way of sorting themselves out. You tend to think of the worst case scenarios and how you will describe the ascension to someone who is sitting in a black robe. Well, you have gone beyond a little bit over the edge of discrimination, I think, in your explanations to these people who could not understand or who were too young to understand. And so now you are reaping the rewards of this.
Yep.
So let it be a lesson to you in discrimination. Again, I think you have a tendency to try to share your particular truth with others in a way that influences them to come into your truth. And it is more for you to simply experience your truth. And if it is truth, it will absorb them by and by. So with regards to this, let it be a lesson to you in discrimination. We have warned each being who has taken the Ascension course and who has heard about the Ascension not to go running through the streets, not to tell people that are not open to it about the Ascension. We have even said that they might try to lock you up. If you have not listened to these warnings, then you see there is an emotional reaction to this information. I think that is what you were responding to, the emotional excitement of it. Many people respond to it at first with a great deal of emotional excitement and enthusiasm, which tends to color their discrimination. There is a valuable necessity for discrimination. In the past, you have all had lifetimes, I believe all of you have, where you have been light workers and have gone over the edge of discrimination and shared God-natured information, your own truth, with others, and have been received a negative impact from that in the way of persecutions or this sorts of things. At this time, you should simply be your truth, live your truth, and act it in love. Be the Christ to your children and be the Christ to your friends and neighbors. And let your walking and talking example of love be the teaching. It is not necessary for people to understand the Ashtar command in order to ascend. It may be necessary for them to ascend in the first wave, perhaps, for the most part, but It is more important for you to love one another. And to love someone, it is often necessary simply to be loved rather than to try to superimpose your reality upon them. Superimposing your reality upon children is what is wrong with this world in the first place. You all as adults have had to dig your way out of superimposed realities to get to this point that you are now. Children will, if left to their own devices, out of their own curiosity and spontaneous expression, follow the paths that are perfect for them, and they will ask the questions that are necessary at the time that they need to have the answer. So love will erase any fear that has been created. Children need stability and love. And they need your love to be constant and consistent. If this is the case, it doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter if you tell them you're a giraffe from Venus. If they feel your love, they will be satisfied with that. They don't pay as much attention to our ideas as we think they do. They know that the world is an illusion or a dream, a wonderful dream that they don't understand. But as long as there is love within them, and love surrounding them from their parents and guardians, they are happy. They are happy even though they don't understand the dream. Would anyone care to enjoy that reality?
Yes.
Grown-ups try to enjoy the reality by understanding it, but it is a dream. You know, in a dream state, how anything can happen. You can be running down the street and all of a sudden start flying. You can be standing in front of a truck that is about to crash into you, and all of a sudden the truck turns into a kitten. Anything can happen. Well, this is the way third-dimensional reality looks to us, like a dream. But because of humanity's patterns and programmings and accepting limited realities as reality, it tends to be that when a truck is coming at you, it doesn't turn into a kitten, it stays a truck. Because everyone believes it's a truck. You see the power of the mind to project its creations. Agreed upon creations. If no one agreed about what was real, everything would be much more fluid. If no one superimposed their realities upon anyone else, everyone would be able to have their own truth, their own creation, their own wonderful manifestations. Just as it was in the beginning on this earth, where beings could create whatever they desired, and each being could have their own reality, their own wonderful dream. It will be that again. You see, all of the creations and projections are dissolving in this light. So those of you who are giving yourself to the light are going to come into your time of enjoyment, into your time of manifestation of all that you could desire. And those who are clinging to the old manifestations and agreed upon beliefs of what is real will be in an experience of less. They will be in an experience of dissolution, of destruction. Same reality, same planet, different experiences. This is why we have come to you this evening with our talk about change, and learning to surrender to change and adapt to it, and enjoy it, and flow through it. And then you will come to the place where you can utilize it more and more. You can utilize the light to create, and your realities will be much more glowing, much more brilliant, much more abundant. You will all be walking around like gods and goddesses. And your fears will be nowhere to be found. And no one will be able to affect you negatively. And you will allow everyone to have their own individual perfect reality that they have created, and you will have no attachment to what another has created over what you have created. Perhaps you will take a few tips from the Ascended Masters and create more of that reality. Everything is going to be much more free-flowing and much more flexible. If you will but allow, loosen your grip on old patterns and agreed upon beliefs, and allow the changes to take place. They are taking place. So it is getting time for me to go. I tell you that it has been a great pleasure to be here this evening, to feel this wonderful energy. I hope you have enjoyed my presence.
Yes.
Merry Christmas. Next week Santa will be here. Perhaps you could, as I am departing, take a few moments to breathe and enjoy. I will bless you with a little bit more presence as I am departing from this form. So I love you so much, and Lord Sananda sends his love. I thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Right.